Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here with a book haul from the past couple months. I don't know. I have always done my monthly in and outs where I tell you everything I'm hauling for the month as well as everything I'm unhauling. But then when I took a little break, I got behind on that, and these books have all just been like adding up on my desk here, and I haven't put them away because I want to share about them. But it got really intimidating because there's a lot of books now. And I really don't like doing hauls where I just tell you like the title and that's it, because I really like to hear a little bit about the books. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the books. Not a ton, because otherwise we'd be here forever. And yeah, so if you can tell by my voice, I'm just getting over laryngitis. I get laryngitis like a few times a year. If I get a cold, I get laryngitis. If I get allergies, I lose my voice. If I get anything, I lose my voice. That's just kind of my response to like everything. And so we had a cold and or allergies. I don't even know what it is, because everyone else in my family is fine, but here I am. I haven't had a voice for about 3 days, and so now they are at soccer, and this is my time to film. So if it doesn't happen now, it won't happen ever. So just excuse my voice, and let's get into the book. So these are in really no particular order, except one weekend, a few weekends ago, Jeremy, we were all planning to go to Half Price Books, and then Ainsley wasn't feeling too good, so Jeremy's like, you just go ahead and go. So I took a couple bags of books in Half Price Books, and if you guys have ever been to Half Price Books, I took, I think, 2 full, maybe even 3 full, like, canvas grocery sacks of books into Half Price Books, and I think I got like $20 maybe. So they're really bad about trade-in value, but I got a bunch of books there too. So some of these are from there. Some of them are from one of our libraries, has a really great, like Friends of the Library bookstore. So some are from there. Yeah, they're just kind of from all over. So let's just get into it. So the first one is Not That I Could Tell by Jessica Strasser. So I just recently read something by Jessica Strasser, and I liked it well enough. And this one has a premise that really intrigues me. So this is about a group of mothers who all go to this like bonfire. They take wine, they take their baby monitors, and they're all sitting around having like telling secrets, having wine, doing whatever. And then one of them, I think, disappears, and we don't know what happened to her. So that sounds really like this suburban domestic kind of drama thriller situation. I don't really know what to expect, but I'm really excited to read it. Next is one I've heard so much about, but is The Other People by CJ Tudor. So they had like all of CJ Tudor's books for $3 at Half Price Books. And this is the one I was most intrigued by. So I bought it because I have never read anything by them. I think it's a her, but I'm not sure. And so this one, I figured I would try this one and then go back and see if they're still there, if I really like it. But this one is about a man who is driving on the highway, and he sees a little girl like wave from the back of another car, and it's his daughter saying daddy. And then she's missing and presumed dead. And so he spends years searching to find out what happened to his daughter. I think concurrently there's maybe another story of a woman and her daughter running from people who like want to get her because she knows what happened to this man's daughter. I don't really know, but it sounds really suspenseful, really intriguing. Can't wait to try it. Next is one that I've heard really, really mixed things about, so I'm kind of nervous, but The Mall by Megan McCafferty. So Megan McCafferty is a writer from like the early 2000s and stuff that writes what I would say, I mean, she still writes now, but I read a lot of her stuff that was published around those years. And a lot of her stuff now, I don't know that it necessarily holds up. And this book is filled with 90s nostalgia and time spent in the mall. It does say somewhere in 1991. So for me, I was born in 89. So in 91, some of the references may be like stuff that I'm not sure about. Later 90s, I for sure know that, but I don't really know. And I've heard that, some of it is pretty early 90s. I've heard some of it's a little problematic, but I still want to try it just to kind of see, because sometimes like Megan McCafferty, just that like really mindless chick lit is kind of what I need. Next is I Was Here by Gail Foreman. So this is about a girl who gets a call that her best friend has committed suicide, and she's shocked by that. And so she goes to her best friend's like dorm room and stuff to clean it out and kind of find out what happened to her best friend. And she finds a lot of things that she did not know about and that she didn't expect necessarily from her friend. So Was it suicide? What happened? Was there more to the story? I don't know. Next is this chunker, Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. So this is a really old book and it's really thick. But it's about this girl. She's like Miss Popular and it's Cupid's Day, which I guess is like February 12th. And it's supposed to be like this day that she can celebrate her high status, high social status, but she dies. And then the next morning she wakes up and she relives that day. I think it said 7 times. So she learns how like decisions she make can maybe change things. And yeah, sounds interesting. Next is another Lauren Oliver called Delirium. This is textured and I really like that. But this one is about, like, I don't know, I just went crazy on their clearance section. These are all $3. But this is about a world in which love has become, I think it says like fatal or lethal or something. And so at age 18, everyone is given the cure that supposedly like stops them from falling in love, I guess. This girl, she is like just about to turn 18 and get the cure, but she meets a boy. And so I don't know. The back says, let's see, now everything has changed. I'd rather be infected with love for the tiniest sliver of a second than 100 years smothered by a lie. So sounds interesting. A YA, I don't know. It can scratch an itch sometimes. Then we've got Night Music by Jojo Moyes. So I have not heard anything about this, and I don't know if I'm living under a rock or just not paying attention to the right sources, but this is a newer release about a woman whose husband dies, and so she leaves them with like nothing. So she and her 2 kids have to move to like this dilapidated house in the English countryside, and she learns about picking herself up. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I like single mom stories. I've got 2 kids. She's got 2 kids. Maybe it'll be relatable or interesting. Jojo Moyes is very hit and miss for me, so I'm a little nervous. But if you've read this, especially, let me know. Next, we've got one inspired by Nicole at Who Picked This Book. This is one of her all-time favorite books, and this is Chill Factor by Sandra Brown. So I saw this for $3, hardback. It's large print, which I actually really like because it makes me feel productive to like turn pages quite a bit. But that being said, it is 600 and it's over 700 pages because it's large print. So it's a lot of pages to turn, but I'll feel good making my progress. So I don't know a whole lot about this book, and I don't really want to know because I know it's a thriller. It's about a bunch of women who subsequently, like, they kept going missing. And I think somebody who maybe goes to like explore, I think she maybe is the wife of a police chief or something. I don't know a whole lot about it, and I don't want to. So I just want to try this because Nicole loves it so much. Next is The Friendship List by Susan Mallory. So this is about a woman who has a college, like a 18-year-old maybe son, and he's about to go to college, but she overhears him talking to a friend and saying like, I can't go to my dream college because my mom just needs me too much. And so her best friend kind of makes her a list of things to do to like help her rediscover herself so she doesn't put so much on her son, I think is what this is. So looks like her and her friend kind of rediscovering themselves. I love women's fiction like that, so this should be great. I also love Susan Mallory. Next, we've got No Place Like Home by Mary Higgins Clark, and this one was inspired by Tara from Buzzwords Books. So she talks about Mary Higgins Clark, not frequently, but every now and then. And Mary Higgins Clark is one of those people that I remember like my grandma reading. No offense, Tara, like I don't mean you're an old lady, but like she is one of the OGs. She is seriously an OG. And I've read just a handful, like less than 5, I would say, of her books. And I've really liked them. So I don't know why I haven't picked up more. So I went through thrift books. I was trying to place a thrift books order and I needed a few more dollars. And so I went through Mary Higgins Clark and to see what they have. And I looked which ones Tara did not have so we could buddy read, and this was one of them. So this is about a girl who's like 10 years old and accidentally shoots and kills her mom, trying to like protect her from her abusive stepfather. And it was ruled an accident. Nothing like came of it as far as punishment. But she's adopted and they change her name. She gets to kind of reinvent her life. But then many years later, her husband decides to buy the house that she killed her mom in. And the media and like the public was really unkind to this little girl and called her like Lizzie Borden because her name is Liza. And so then when they get there, there is like spray paint on the grass saying something about like little killer Lizzie or something. And I think there's somebody maybe after them, and like the real estate agent dies and she's blamed. I don't know. It sounds like a lot going on. But I'm hoping to like this. And if not, just dive back into Mary Higgins Clark for nostalgia's sake. Then we've got PSI Like You by Casey West. So this is about a girl who's like, again, another YA about a girl who is kind of daydreaming in class and writes lyrics to a song on her desk. And then the next day, the lyrics are like finished. And so she's got like this pen pal that she doesn't know who it is. And they keep writing back and forth. Sounds cute. It's like a really short 300 and I don't know, however many YA book. So this will be perfect for this spring and summer when I just need like a palate cleanser. Then we've got the first two in the Winter in Paradise and What Happens in Paradise series by Ellen Hildebrand. So this is a trilogy that I've been intentionally avoiding. I love Ellen Hildebrand, and like her Winter Street series is one of my favorites. But I read those as they were coming out, and I highly do not recommend that because it was like torture to wait the next year for the next book. So this book, I vowed I was not even going to start it until all 3 books were out, and now they are. These 2 were at my library, and they were like either 50 cents or $1. They don't match in size, and that really bothers me. But I figured if I love these, I'll either replace one or the other so they match, or I'll just get over it. I need to get the 3rd one sometime, but I'm really excited. So this is about a woman. I think she gets a call that her husband has died, but he's died in St. John, and he has a second family that she never knew about. So she has to go like figure it out. And I don't really know anything more about that. I don't want to know any more about it. I'm really excited to dive in. Then the whole reason I think that I did that thrift books order was because of this book, which is Sing You Home by Jodi Picoult. So this one, Jackie from the channel, I think her name is just Jacqueline, was talking about this book because she is going through IVF. And this book is about a couple who struggles with infertility. And IVF does not work for them. And they end up getting divorced, I think. And then it becomes like a question of what to do with the embryos that are left frozen. She gets remarried and wants to use them, I think, but he doesn't want her to or something. I don't really know. So she was reading this book, and it sounded really interesting to me. But I got it, and it was marked as very good condition. And you guys, it is so water damaged and like gross, and it is like in terrible condition. So I'm really upset by this. I'll probably still read it, but I don't know if I'll read it in this format because it's just not in good shape. Not in good shape at all. So that doesn't happen often with thrift books, but it does sometimes, and it's so disappointing when it does. But their customer service is pretty good. So they refunded this book, and we'll just give it a shot. Next, we have A Stroke of Luck by Jill Shalvis. And this is a bind up, which I did not know. And it's At Last and Forever in a Day. So I don't like bind ups. That's why I am saying it like that, because I just don't like it. I like the freedom to read one book and not the other. And it's confusing because if I read one, does it go on my read shelf, my unread shelf? What do? I feel a lot of pressure to read them both. I just don't like it. And like, I love just shorter books. Like this one is chunky because it's got 2, but whatever. It's about At Last it's a romance with a park ranger, and then the second one is Forever in a Day, and I think it's a romance with a single dad ER doctor, which are 2 of my buzzwords. So I'm excited to try it, even though I don't love this format. Next, we have some Book of the Month books. So I've got, let me not drop it, The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. So I read The Guest List. I have not read The Hunting Party, but I like The Guest List, so I picked this one up. This is about a girl who I think goes to her brother's apartment and finds he's like missing. There's some secrets. Meet the residents of number 12, Rue des Amants, a beautiful old apartment building in the City of Light. The socialite, the nice guy, the alcoholic, the girl on the verge, the concierge. Everyone's a neighbor, everyone's a suspect, and everyone knows something they're not telling. See you in Paris. So it sounds good. I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't want to because I feel like that's the best part of her books. So that I'm going to give it a shot just because FOMO, you guys. This book was bought by FOMO. Next is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. So this is an add-on. And I loved In 5 Years. I know not everybody did, but I loved In 5 Years. And this one is about a girl who loses her mother, and they were about to go on an Italian vacation together, and her mother has died, so she goes. And the Italian vacation was because that is where her mother, I think, met her father as a young woman. So she goes on this Italian vacation and meets her mom, but not her mom as she knew her mom as a young woman. And that just is like mind boggling to me. And especially lately, I've been having a lot of like existential crises about like my role as mom, because my 4-year-old is 4 going on 14. And I'm really getting glimpses of the fact that like I'm the mom. Like I'm the like old lady in this house, and I'm the one that like is supposed to know what's going on. And it's just funny because I don't feel like that at all. Like I feel like I still am like 21. I mean, no, I don't. I don't feel like I'm 21. I'm in bed by 9 o'clock every night. But I just think it's interesting, like the way we shift our like who we are as people when we become mothers, like some of the things that just happen slowly over time. And like I want my girls to know the me I was before them. And so it's really interesting to read this and see like how that works out. I don't know. That may have nothing to do with anything, but there's my therapy session of the day. So these next 3 are from Forever and Central Publishing, or Grand Central Publishing. They are so kind and send so many sweet books. So thank you to them. And these all just sound so good. So we've got My Husband's Daughter. So this is about a couple who is just living their happy child-free life. They've chosen to not have kids. And then one day somebody shows up on their doorstep and was like, hey, this is your kid, to the guy. You know, the guy is the father, supposedly. So they're like, what? And this woman also is needing some help. So I don't know how this is going to work out, but could you love the child you never knew you had? I think the little kid's like 5 by the time that they come together. So I'm excited to read that. Then we've got The Magnolia Sisters by Alice Murray. So this woman inherits a house in, I think it's like Magnolia is maybe the town. I don't know. But she goes to claim her inheritance, and like she plans to claim her inheritance and then peace out and go back to wherever she's from. However, she finds out she's got 2 half sisters and a hunky like single dad, I think, next door. So it's her romance, and this cover just makes me think of summer and cozy, like outside, like bonfire. Thank you, bonfire times. And even though there's no bonfire, I don't know, it just feels good, cozy. This feels like a late June, July book. So I'm excited to read that. And then we've got Just the Two of Us by Jo Wild. What happens after the happily ever after? And this is something that I talk about a lot on my channel. I feel like is like marriage is not the end. You got like that sunshine and rainbows is not the same as marriage. Like what happens to the love story after the I do's? And I think this one is going to be really exciting. So this one is about after 34 years of marriage, their grand romance has fizzled. They're more like roommates than husband and wife. And she wonders if it's time to give up. And then lockdown happens. And so is that the end, or can they rediscover love? So I think it's really intriguing and really relatable to a lot of people, especially in the past couple years. So I'm really excited and grateful to Grand Central and Forever for sending these books. Next is a whole big chunker pile that I got at Half Price Books. So if you guys can see, we've got the first 8 in James Patterson's Women's Murder Club or something is what it's called. So it's First to Die, Second Chance, Third Degree, 4th of July, The Fifth Horseman, The Sixth Target, Seventh Heaven, and The Eighth Confession. So this is like a 20-book series, or maybe even more than that, by James Patterson, about this women's murder club. I think is what it's called. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't know, but I love James Patterson books. I love them. And that like their chapters are so short. Chapter 3 is on page 12. Like they're so short and make me feel so productive when I'm reading. And I love nothing more than being able to sink into a series and just binge them. And like, I'm not going to binge 20 some books, but these are the first 8, all for $3 in hardback. I'll take it. So, and like, again, those are kind of palate cleansers when I like need just to feel good and productive. That's one of my big like slump tips. If you're in a slump, read a book with short chapters, because just that productivity is like so motivating to me. So yeah, got those 8. But anyway, those are also really easy to find at like library book sales or half price books. There was multiple copies of most of those. And so if I love it, I can keep collecting. But I figured 8 was enough to start with. So now we've got just a little stack of ones that I've already read. So I'll go through them quickly because a lot of them I've already talked about. But the first one is Am I Messing Up My Kids by Lisa TerKeurst. So this is one that I've read. And it's if you don't know who Lisa TerKeurst is, she is a Christian woman who writes a lot of books, and she's really relatable. And this book I have read, but I read it on audio on Hoopla. And there's a lot of stuff in here that I really wanted to like work through. Like there's scripture mentioned that I wanted to like take notes on. There's like discussion questions and things. Like I really just want to go through this physically and annotate it and journal with it and kind of spend more time with it. So yeah, this one's definitely good. Then another nonfiction is How to Raise an Intuitive Eater. And this is by Sumner Brooks and Amy Severson. So this one is raising the next generation with food and body confidence. So I've talked about it a lot on this channel. I think I am really scared / honored to have the privilege of raising girls. And I just really want to make sure that they are just in tune with their body, that they're intuitive with things, and that they don't feel external pressures, and that they can like remember, like, because right now they are so in tune with their body. Like the other night, one of them ate like 7 dinner rolls, and that was all she ate for dinner. And then the next day she ate vegetables and fruit. And, you know, I mean, it's just very like looking at their week as a whole, they eat really balanced, but some meals can look really wonky. And I love that. I hope they never lose touch of just the intuition that comes. Like your body will tell you what you need if you listen. And so I really appreciate this book. This is very science-based about how to do it, and very like practical strategies on how to make sure you foster that in them. Next is Necessary Lies. And you guys, I've talked about this book, I feel like, in every video lately, because it was on a TBR, I didn't read it, and then it was on another one, and now I finally read it. And this one is about a young girl. This one I was a little wrong about what it was about in other TBRs, but this is about a young girl who her mother is actually in like some sort of psychiatric facility, and her dad has died. And so now she's left with her grandmother who has diabetes, her sister who has some sort of learning disabilities, and some just anxiety, I think some mental health issues, and she's got a young son. And so then our main character has epilepsy. So they are just a family just trying to keep their head above water. They're in the poverty line. They are like barely keeping their head above water. And so there's that family, and they live and work on like for this man. And basically this is told in the 50s or 60s, and so right around civil rights movements and stuff. And there's also a Black family that is on like working in the same area, and there's a social worker that comes to help kind of all of them. And the social worker is a new social worker, and she gets very involved in their life. And this is told around the time of eugenics, and I think it was in North Carolina. This is something that really happened that I didn't know anything about. They were sterilizing people that either failed an IQ test, or just people that they deemed not desirable to reproduce. And so it talks a lot about that. It talks some about race issues. Like this is just a hard-hitting. Diane Chamberlain, she does it good. So that was a good one. And then I've got another Grand Central book, I think. So this one is Would I Lie to You? And I didn't love this book because this is about a family who gets in a financial struggle. And this cover makes me think thriller. This is not a thriller. It's definitely like a women's fiction drama kind of thing. So they get in this financial hardship, and the husband thinks they have this like emergency fund, but the wife has spent it all. And this is just her telling lie after lie after lie after lie as she tries to like fix things that she's done wrong. And her reasons are valid, I mean, I guess, but not really. Like, and it was just like, would I lie to you? Yes, yes, I would, because that's what this is over and over and over and over. So it's all right. Not my favorite, but entertaining. Then we've got a Wedding on Sunshine Corner. So this is the second in a series, and Sunshine Corner is a preschool. And so this girl and her friend run this preschool, and she is a teacher of a 4-year-old class, and she gets involved with one of her students' dads, but it's like an enemies to lovers situation. He's a single dad. It was just okay. It was just okay. I didn't really feel the connection between them. It had so many tropes I loved, and yet it fell kind of flat. So there's that. Always in December. I low-key hated this book. This one is another one that I thought I would love. And so this one is about this couple who they like meet, have a one-night thing, and like have this perfect connection, and then he disappears. And then fate keeps bringing them together, and I love that like trope. But this one, he was lying to her about a lot of things. There's a lot of like cheating going on. I low-key hated this book. Next is Insta Mom by Chantel Gurton. So this is about a woman who chooses to be kid-free. She does not want children, and she has made a social media frenzy about this. And like she is an Instagram star, I guess. I don't know what you call them, an influencer for sure. And it's like Kid-Free Kit or something like that. And she is all about the women's right to choose. If you want to be a mother, great. If you don't, also great. And that neither of those choices is inferior or superior. And I love that message. I think it's so great to talk about that, because I feel like that's not talked about a lot, especially in books. It's you get married, you have kids, and then it's happily ever after. And that's just not the case for everybody. Sometimes that's not what you want, and that's okay. And like, I think there's a big stigma around choosing not to have children. And I really wanted this book to like tackle that and prove that wrong. But she meets a single dad. She has to do like a kind of an Instagram campaign type thing with him. And she falls for him and his daughter, and she starts questioning truths that she has told herself in the past. And I liked that, like questioning things that you believe to be true about yourself and really defining like why those things are they actually true, challenging those thoughts. I like that idea. But this one almost felt like the people who are choosing to be child free are actually just choosing that by default. And I didn't feel like it did enough to advocate for people who choose to be child free. Again, that's me. My perspective is somebody who has chosen to have children. Maybe I'm being like overly sensitive on behalf of the people who have chosen not to have children, but it seems like a lot of the people in this group were either had health issues or different things, like different reasons that they were choosing to be child free, as opposed to just, I like my life without kids and I'm fine with that. And I really wanted that message to be like shown that it's okay. So this was okay for me. It wasn't my favorite, but it was still good. It was definitely entertaining, and I enjoyed it. So those are all the books that I have hauled lately, and I feel like my voice is about to crap out. So that is it. If you've read any of these, let me know. If you have any that you think like I should really push to the top of the pile, let me know. This James Patterson series, if you've read it, let me know. And that's it. We'll talk to you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.